You may have seen it coming for a long time, but most Americans have never given it much thought. It's not something that you see in the headlines or on TV news. And besides, we have much more important things to worry about. We go about our daily lives thinking, it's not my problem. Yet every family in every community is personally affected by it sooner or later. And these days, it's sooner. What is it? It's that hundreds of thousands of ex-offenders are being released back into our communities every year. And in less than 3 years, 2 out of 3 will be rearrested again. That's a staggering 67% failure rate.
The numbers are astounding when you think about the fact that we have 1 in 31 Americans that are either behind bars or on some form of community supervision. We spend $68 billion on corrections, and our recidivism rate is still terrible.
But it's not about the money. It's really a human tragedy. Most of them have no support system at all when they come home. They have nobody waiting to welcome them home at all.
They leave prison with as little as $100 and a plastic bag full of their belongings. They have no ID, no housing, no food, no support system, and more importantly, no job.
A convicted felon serves actually 2 sentences. They serve one through the jurisdiction of the Department of Corrections, and they serve the other one through society. And society is not as forgiving.
Good morning, Operation New Hope and the home of Ready4Work. This is Shirley. How can I help you?
When you come here to Ready4Work, we are going to place you in a job. We are going to stick with you. We're going to set you up with interviews, and we are going to make sure, and we're going to take you to those interviews, and we're going to make sure that you get placed with a job. We're going to be with you every step of the way.
2002, Jacksonville's Ready4Work site was chosen by the White House Office for Faith-Based Initiatives as the pilot program for the Ready4Work effort nationwide. Its president, Kevin Gay, assembled a small group of dedicated individuals, any one of whom could probably run a program of their own. In a few short years, even they were surprised with the results. Ready4Work produced a recidivism rate that was 50% better than Jacksonville's and the state of Florida's.
Well, you know, when we looked at the numbers, we thought we were doing a good job, but we had no idea just how good the numbers were. When you find that 9 out of 10 people were still on the job, out of the criminal justice system, it was beyond comprehension. Something magical was happening. It was beyond what we ever thought. The other great benefit to this work is the fact that the cost of incarceration is reduced. Typically, we see a cost of $23,000 a year per inmate to incarcerate, and our cost has been around $4,500. That's a tremendous savings to taxpayers.
These unparalleled results began to get notice across the nation, including the praise of 3 presidents of the United States. President Clinton wrote of Ready4Work in his book, Giving, where he states, just 1 in 20 of its participants is arrested within a year of release, compared with 1 in 5 of all those who are released from Florida's prisons. And President Barack Obama included accolades for Ready4Work in his speech, Faith in America. They're making a difference in communities all across this country through initiatives like Ready4Work, which is helping ensure that ex-offenders don't return to a life of crime.
I wish I could tell you that we had really had this thing figured out and it was a plan that was designed, but really it wasn't. It was a housing operation. We needed folks, and we were hiring people within the urban core area that needed jobs. We didn't know that about 80% of them were ex-offenders. And so we found that the real core of the work of prisoner reentry happens in hiring and creating job opportunities. And so that's really the genesis of how we got started.
So what makes Ready4Work work? For openers, it's not a social handout organization, but rather a well-orchestrated business model consisting of 5 major components.
We think the best chance for success is the early recruitment, getting them before they come home from prison, getting them before they get out of drug court, getting them before they come out of jail. When we begin to build those relationships with them early enough, then they'll buy into wanting to make those changes that they'll need to make. Honestly, it's like making a sales pitch. I'm selling the idea of change.
Well, while we're in there, we do a plan of care, which is basically a plan for the individual's life. And this plan is agreed upon by both the individual and the case manager. We actually come to an agreement before we leave.
Well, we learned early on that we really had to make a case in just how good the numbers were. And so we developed a phenomenal system that is measuring our data. We have outcome measurements and performance measurements that we have to have. And so it allows us to make a case. We have independent data that corroborates how successful our numbers really are.
It's very detailed. We cover their immediate services that they will need, such as assistance with food stamps, getting their driver's license, mental health services, substance abuse services, medical services.
The case managers are told to always treat the participants as if they're special. I find that one of the best questions to ask the participant is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because they really are starting all over again. They are actually starting their life anew. This is their second chance to do it this time when they didn't do it last time.
After they complete that process, then the individual comes to me in the Career Development Center. That's where the actual training begins. That's where we get into modifying their behaviors, broadening their mindset, changing their attitudes, so that they can become productive citizens in society, equipped with knowledge, skill set, and determination.
So it's my goal not to tear your self-esteem down, but to break up your thought process.
We want to deal with self-esteem. We want to know how they feel coming home. This is not just about getting a job. It's about changing one's life. Because most have had a job before, but it was a lifestyle that caused them to lose the job. So now they're changing every aspect of their life.
Life coaching is required in our program. The program enrollment is for a one-year period, and they're to be matched with a life coach for that one-year period. A life coach, I tell them, is a person that will advise, that will encourage them, that will be there for them, that will be just a good listener in their life, that will be a good role model, that will be a positive relationship.
Resources. Let's talk about resources for a few minutes.
Life coaches need focused training as well. So Ready4Work offers a training program with a manual specifically designed for ex-offender mentoring. Coaches learn the key elements that build a successful mentoring program. Matches are not guesswork. A scientific matching method is used based on questionnaires between client and coach.
I heard somebody say one time, your actions are speaking so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. And so even the life coaches buy into that, and that makes the relationship even more effective and a greater blessing.
I am telling you that you will find a job. If you stick with us, work with us, do everything that you're supposed to as a participant, you will be placed. We're going to set you up with interviews, and we are going to make sure, and we're going to take you to those interviews. I'm going to actually go to the site. I'm going to meet with the person face to face so they can see the sincerity about the Ready4Work program, that we are about getting results for our participants. You're going to see me. You're going to see this face. We are providing HR services at no cost to the employers. We're doing background checks. We are doing drug testing. We're going to be with you every step of the way.
For Ready4Work to work, every component in the process is essential, but there's one more element that's a little harder to describe.
It's hard to describe without being spiritual, without being preachy. I just believe that we all have been called to do this, and we all believe in the organization and our mission.
It's about knowing that that person in front of you has come to you wanting to be better.
They have something to prove to themselves. They have something to prove to their families.
Well, you know what's beautiful is when you hear a participant say this. We gain from being around here because we see the way we should live, And to me, that really summarizes about what we are. We're a faith-based organization, but we believe it's more about action than it is about words. We're so very grateful that we have been blessed to have the kind of numbers that we have. The results have been staggering. And most people would think, gosh, you just sit back and, you know, and relish the successes that you've had, until you start getting the phone calls from little communities all around America. They're going, we're struggling too. What can we do?
Every community could benefit from a program like this. You've got communities all over this country that are looking for solutions to help solve this problem. We have a solution to it. It can be duplicated. It's not about letting criminals off the hook. It's not.
We're learning that it's more about being smart on crime than being tough on crime. Smart on crime is about creating jobs, it's about creating training programs, it's about bringing back hope again. This is the best crime prevention tool in America. It saves billions of dollars in the cost of incarceration. We're reuniting families. We're making our streets safer again. It makes sense in every capacity.
I was introduced to a family of people that really cared, and they embraced me. They got their hands around me, and they began to show me a new way of living.
This is Lori. Can I help you?
I never thought in a million years that I would have what I have today.
Yes, hold on just one moment.
Never. You could have told me 50 million times and I would have never believed it.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
All right.
Ready4Work, they prepare you for the job. They're gonna prepare me so I know what to do and how to get this job.
Ready4Work helped me to understand myself better, and they taught me that I am marketable, that I do have things to offer, that I do matter in life, that I can make it.
For more information about how you can help your community achieve dramatic success in helping ex-offenders change their lives, contact our Ready4Work home office in Jacksonville, Florida. A complete program of instructional materials, including personalized on-site training sessions, is available. For current updates on Operation New Hope's Ready4Work program, log on to ready4work.com.